What up, though? How'd you sleep? Slept all right. I slept all right. May have fell asleep with a heating pad on my leg, but slept okay. Much needed sleep after the long weekend for Indigenous Peoples Day. So that was nice, man. That was nice. I'm feeling good though. I'm feeling good. The anniversary of Mom's passing was on Monday, so coping with that. And then a few weeks from now, the anniversary of my other mom is coming up. So difficult time of year, but we here. We here, and we're doing just fine, like Mary J. Blige. And speaking of Mary J. Blige, no, I have no segue into this, but I read a book recently. It is called The Guncle, and it is incredible. Um, I I saw the cover a few months ago, honestly, and let me just check. So I want to make sure I get the author right, because what is a book without quoting the author? I mean, that's just rude. It's like, yeah, I read this great book, but I can't remember who it was written by. I want to say it's Stephen Rowley. Let's see how good I am. It is written by Stephen Rowley. Nice. So I one of my best friends, it was on her Goodreads list, and so I saw the cover and I was like, the uncle. Well, let's see, a gay uncle. I'm all in. It doesn't take much other than that. So I put it down on my borrow list for the library from Morgantown Library. Shout out to the Morgantown Public Library, keeping me in my digital books, man. That's what's up. And for forever, man, it just sat on hold, and it would come in and be like, "You want to read this book?" And I'm like, because I'm terrible about when a book becomes available after I put it on hold on the Libby app. I'm terrible about downloading it, but then not reading it. Then it's like, your book's going to expire in 2 days. So I'm like, oh, I'll just send it back, put it back on hold. So I did this with the Guncle for a long time. And finally, I don't know what it was. I just hadn't read a book in a while. I think the last one I read was Damnation Spring. And talk about a tearjerker, man. That was a really good book too. But I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and jump into this. So, real brief overview. The book is about Patrick, who is a former television star, and his best friend Sarah passed away. And don't quote me; I haven't read it in a few weeks, so if her name's not Sarah, but that's about all the names I'm going to get into. Those are the most important ones. His best friend Sarah passed away from cancer, and Sarah had two kids with his brother. And so he flies back home for her funeral, and then right after he lands, his brother essentially says, "Hey, I need you to kind of watch the kids for a little while." And Patrick's like, "Oh yeah, no problem. You know, you're grieving, I'm grieving. I lost Sarah, you lost Sarah. I understand you need some time." And his brother's like, "Nah, bro, nah. I kind of need you to take these kids for the summer because I got to go to rehab." And immediately, as soon as I saw that was the hook for me, because I had a friend recently who went into rehab, and I had no idea how to support them at all, and they were across the country, so it was an interesting time to always have them in the back of my mind, wondering how they were doing. So I mean, it didn't go too far into his brother's actual rehab. There's like only one true scene that happens at the rehab, and they kind of talk about it a little bit at the end of the book. But that was what hooked me. So Patrick takes his niece and nephew, moves them, takes them to Palm Springs, and they have this uh essentially this great summer, just learning each other, and Patrick's learning about more about himself and dealing with his grief, and then also dealing with his grief from his partner passing away in a car accident a few years ago. And I wasn't ready for all the emotions. I have so many highlights in this book. Um, I was not prepared, man. Like I honestly mean that. There is just so much great stuff in here, just about grief in general, you know. And I'm wondering. I've never actually used this feature, but let me see. Annotations. All right, so here's the first thing I marked. This is like okay, it didn't give me a page number, but it says Books should be an experience, he thought, not a trophy for having read them. I have literal, and I've cut down, but I could easily put up a just a tall bookshelf and fill it up with mostly with my books and trade paperbacks and everything like that, easily. So that spoke to me because it's like, yo, books should be an experience. Um, at the same time, you obviously want to keep the books because you bought them usually, and you might want to reread them. Um, but that was hard. That was great. Um, that was a cold line. Um, Here's another one. How can you tell where you're going when you're always looking up at the past? What? What? Get out of my head, book. Like, ugh. Also, it's funny as hell. So let me just quote you this line, and it says, "You tell that prick the only way he's going to see his name in lights is if he changes his name to Exit." I laughed so hard at that. I laughed so hard at that. Um, and then here's the last thing I highlighted in the book. It says, "Grief orbits the heart. Some days the circle is greater. Those are the good days. You have room to move and dance and breathe. Some days the circle is tighter. Those are the hard ones." Bro, I went into this thinking it was gonna be like a fun little book about a Guncle and his niece and nephew, and I mean, yeah, the rehab thing was kind of heavy, but I didn't expect it to deal with grief so thoroughly. Ah. I just that last bar, call it a bar. Just that last sentence that I read. It's highlight annotation is what Kindle Books calls it. I mean that sums it up so well. So, oh man, I absolutely love this book, and I believe when I said I've reviewed it on Goodreads, I said I wanted to own the hard copy, because this is a book that I want to have a trophy of, 4,000%. Like, I I want to read more of Stephen Rowley's books, but I also feel like they're not going to live up to what the Guncle is. It's so good. It's so good. So I wanted to come on here and kind of tell y'all about that. So welcome to my welcome to the Hyphen Reviews book section of to YouTube now. You know me, man. I do everything. I review books. I review music. I make music. I write. I mean, what is it that your boy can't do? 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 Your boy can't sew a little bit. I can sew a little bit, but not very good. Uh, so I think that deserves a drink. Also, shout out to this fly ass mug, man. For people watching on YouTube, you can like the video and comment and subscribe and all that stuff. Look at that fly ass mug, man. Like my friend Lexi got that for me on her vacation, so appreciate that, Lexi. But I woke up with something else in my head, and I was washing dishes, man, and this song popped in my head, and this is so funny because one of the suggested articles is about So Deaf, and that's literally what I'm about to talk about here. It was Life in 1472, and the song was called, I believe it's called Fresh, featuring Slick Rick. I don't know who I got this album from. I want to say it was um guy I went to school with, Stormy Funk. He had a CD burner, so he would I think he had a CD burner. I'm pretty sure I was burning rip copies. So was my first copy of 1470? It was definitely on tape. So he would burn copies of his CDs, and then he would let me borrow them, And then because I couldn't burn CDs yet, this is like 1999. I didn't get a CD burner until 2000. Is because the first one, I think it came in the computer, or maybe we had to buy an attachment. I think we had to buy an attachment. So maybe 2001 is when I started making CDs actually. But I'd borrow Stormy CDs and go home and make tapes of them. So he had Life in 1472 by Jermaine Dupri. And the only thing I really knew off of it, I think, was Money Ain't a Thing. And then the couple of singles like Sweetheart featuring Mariah Carey, Chef's Kiss. That Mariah JD combo is undefeated. And then also The Party Continues with the Brat and Usher. And I think there was one other song that Going Home with Me with Keith Sweat. So I remember those videos, but I was like, let me check out this album. And bro, when I first played it, the very first song is Nas. And I had just gotten into Nas. Because literally, I've told this story before. I Am came out in April 1999. My dad bought me the copy, and I played it ad nauseum. Oh, also, shout out to the fact they're finally dropping the original I Am the Autobiography on vinyl. So I doubt I'll cop the vinyl, but I'm looking forward to finding a version of that so I can listen to that whole album, man. That's very exciting for me, as that being my first Nas album. Turn It Out. And also produced by Kanye West, who nobody knew at this time. Nas jumped all over this beat. Like, he's poof. Oh, man. Like, that's the first song. The first song is JD and Nas. And the thing that works about this album, you kind of put JD and Puffy in the same lane because they're both producers and they both rap. JD writes his own shit, though. And JD wrote a lot of the shit that belongs to a lot of his artists. Like a lot of the early Crisscross stuff, a lot of the R&B stuff he writes. JD has a pen. So when he finally decided he wanted to rap in 1998, or not wanted to rap, he had been on songs. When he wants to do a full-length album, a compilation album, he holds his own against some of the greats, man. Like, so Turn It Out. Fire. Kanye beat. Money Ain't a Thing. You already know. In the Ferrari, your Jaguar, switching 4 lanes with the top down. And so it's like, okay, so you got your Nas song in there, fire. You got your Jay-Z song in there, fire. Cool. But then he comes in with not just the DMX feature, a Mad Rapper feature. A Mad Rapper feature from Bad Boy. And this is the same time that Mad Rapper had a whole full-length album. And they jump all over that too. Like, X is just incredible on this record. X is incredible on this record. And then you got the Slick Rick record, Fresh. And I think this is around the era when he had just gotten home from prison again. And this is when he put out the Art of Storytelling album. Early, he had Street Talking single with Big Boy and stuff. Then Sweetheart. Then we get to the South stuff. When we get to the Southern stuff, it gets real. It gets for real. Jazzy Hoes, 8 Ball, Too Short, Mr. Black, and Young Bloods. Oh my God. All I like of them Jazzy Hoes. I mean, brother, I'm just saying. And then, don't hate on me. Crazy Bone, again, this is when Crazy Bone went solo. So he was on everybody's records around this time. Great record. Going Home with Me. I was a ROC, rock, however you say homeboy's name. I was a fan of this kid, man. I was looking forward to his album dropping so much. Kind of like I was about Memphis Bleak. If you check out the last episode of Hyphen Nation, it was 213. I was so excited for this kid, man. And his album never materialized. But I thought his verse was so dope on Going Home with Me. And then that Keith Sweat, and like, going home with me tonight. Like, that's just classic Keith Sweat, man. And then he gets more Bad Boy people. You get dealt with. Lil Kim and Mace, they both tear this whole shit down. I wasn't trying to cuss, but I may have said it already. Then the party continues. I mean, you can't go wrong with the Brat and Usher. I mean, that's money. He's already made money with them. And he was going to go on to make more money with them. Um, so all that's got to go was probably the first one. Is like, it's cool. Same with Protectors of 1472. That was Snoop's era where Snoop was on No Limit by then, and like probably from 1999 up until 2004, when he did when Drop It Like It's Hot came out. Snoop had this period for me where it felt like he was just being. He's like, I'm Snoop. I don't gotta worry about Suge. I'll take your check and I'll rap on your song, and that was fine. And honestly, from there, the album kind of slows down. From there, Lay You Down, Trina and Tamara, featuring Trina and Tamara, and then Three the Hard Way, featuring Mr. Black and ROC or Rock. So seriously though, to have a 14 song album that has a total length of literally, it's an hour album, and have a run that goes from track 1 all the way through pretty much track 10, and then just kind of have 4 leftover songs. And I need to revisit this album and see what I think of those. That's not bad at all. That's not bad at all, Jermaine. So once again, I gotta send a shout out to Jermaine Dupri and Puffy, because honestly, I know I'm not the best rapper in the world. I'm good at it. I'm damn good, but I'm never gonna get on some deep lyrical stuff that's really gonna amaze you. That's not me. It's not me. It's fine. But if there's anybody I've ever tried to pattern my flow and cadence and just the swag on the track, it's definitely JD and Puffy. There's a lot of JD and Puffy in there, and you can hear me talk all about my love of Puffy, and like it was like in the early 200s hyphenation about how much I love No Way Out. This is up there though. This is up there. Only JD album I've ever listened to in full though. I never listened to Instructions. And I think there might have been one last one that kind of came out. Don't quote me. Let's see. Podcasting 101. Why not? Why not? So Instructions came out in 2001. And like I said, never listened to the whole thing. Of course, Welcome to Atlanta was on there. Ballin' Out of Control, which I thought was slept on like hell. And of course, he went to 21 tracks. I mean, you never know. Maybe I'll check that out. Oh, yeah, he had Young Fly and Flashy Volume 1. That came out in 2005. And I don't remember. Oh, I Think They Like Me. The remix is on there. Which Bow Wow killed. So, yeah. So that's a lot of what my I try to at least achieve their heights. If they can sell millions of records doing what they do on the lyrical levels that they do it, whether it was written by them or not, I can pretend I sell a million records. But I appreciate y'all tuning in. Have a great day, y'all. I said y'all, so I ruined the whole thing. I say all that to say this, though. Thanks, y'all.